Good good afternoon, I guess. Good afternoon for Africa and good evening for India and for all other countries from where people have joined in. Um, Respective greetings. So welcome back for another expert talk we have for cybersecurity. Good afternoon, I guess. Good afternoon for Africa and good evening for India and for all other countries. Okay, sorry for that echo. Yep. So we are back with another expert talk, which is expert talk 4 for cybersecurity Africa. And today we have with us Mr. Tushar Verma, who will be talking about the cloud fundamentals. So before moving ahead and diving into the session, let us get to know a bit about him. Mr. Tushar is working both as a product development and operations team and has been playing a really important role in DevSecOps support and practices in his organization. He works with feasible approaches for applications to follow the DevSecOps practices. He's also experienced in security also a experienced security professional with skills in cloud fundamentals, cloud security, and application security, and has a history in working of all of the mentioned field for the last couple of months, for the last couple of years. I'm sorry for that. Without further ado, Tushar, sir, I would just like to hand over the session to you. Unfortunately, Bonaventure, sir, who is the founder of Cybersecurity Africa, couldn't join us on time right now. We were looking ahead for him to join in, but we'll have a short chat with him at the end of the session. All yours.
Yes, yes, okay, sure. Thank you so much. So just, I think I can't share my screen. Can you just give me the permission to share the screen? Shazan, I can't. Yes, yes, now I can see. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so now I think my screen is visible. Okay. Okay, so we can start. Okay, so hi everyone. So in this whole talk, we are going to learn about the AWS cloud computing. So before starting that, we need to also know like why we are like moving to cloud, and after moving to cloud, what like if we are moving there, because see, if any company is trying to get into some different technologies, they first see the advantage of that particular technology. So basically, let's suppose that we are in a meeting room and the let's say the head of that company want us to like okay, they have a plan to migrate their whole system from on-prem to cloud. So in that case, in that meeting, after that meeting, when we have heard all the points and all that, some thing comes in your mind. The first thing is what is cloud computing, of course, because this is a very new term. If you are like you can say a non-IT guy or a IT guy who is just moving into the cloud. So the first question is what is cloud computing? Then how we can like learn this thing, this cloud computing part, and what kind of skills we need so that we can be master in this, and how the thing goes on. So basically in this we'll be seeing the first thing is why we are moving to cloud. Of course, this is very important, and after that we'll be seeing some more things of AWS and how it can help us to make our infra more secure also. So now moving just like for my introduction, a very short introduction I will give. So I am working in like for more than like 2 years in AppSec and CloudSec both. So my day-to-day work is to manage the AppSec part of the company, of course, and the cloud infrastructure. So as a CloudSec engineer, I need to manage the IAM policies, IAM management of the company, their EC2 instance, security, their whole infra. So basically, cloud is all about how you can like make the infrastructure more easy for the software team, the engineering team to work on, and how can you secure the infrastructure, of course. So now if we go back like in like years, like in 2000 year or let's say 2005, there was some old IT approach. In that, what we need to do, we always have to like pay for the rent where all our like servers are there. So that server room was so much huge, so we need to pay the rent because at a company like we are opening a company, we need to have so much big infra like center for that. So we can't get that. So of course for that we need to buy out a place or we can just make some agreement from the owner and we can just pay the rent. So the first problem was like we need to pay high rent for that center. Now because the data center was having so much of high server and some CPUs and all, so for that they need a proper power supply. So of course, if we are like having a power supply, then we need to pay the bills also. And since the server room is like there are so much of CPUs running, so the heat will be also there. So for just for to like make sure this heating issue is not like making any problem uh, for that server room, we need some ACs, the cooling maintenance. So for that also there is the costing for all the ACs which we are installing and the bills which we are need to pay. So the power supply bill and the cooling maintenance comes with the rent we are paying for the data center. Now the third point is adding and replacing hardware will take time. Just for example, we are seeing a IPL match. Like in India, we are having some IPL match, or let's say we are seeing a World Cup match. So that World Cup match is being streaming on a particular application. It can be Hotstar. Just suppose that we are taking example. So now if we see the current scenario, in the current scenario, we are saying, okay, we can just add some cloud instances and we are easy to go. But let's suppose that we are in like 2005, 2004, and the cloud is not been introduced. So I will be adding some hardware so that because the traffic will be more because everyone is seeing the ICC World Cup, then we need to add some more hardwares, the more CPUs and server room will be like more thing will be needed. Now, because of that, I will be the cost will increase. But now, after the ICC World Cup has gone, it will be coming after only 4 years or 3 years. So in that case, what like all the hardware, extra hardware which I have bought for that particular tournament, that is waste for me until and unless a new ICC World Cup match comes. So this was a very huge problem, and and because this the fourth point is so much of like we can say pair up scaling is limited. So to scale, we need to think once like okay, I need to scale up, I need more hardware or not. So this was also very like problem for the IT engineer. Now the fifth point is hire a 24 by 7 team to monitor the infrastructure. So of course, since the data center is managed by the company or by let's say any human being, so 24/7 because anytime anything can happen. So a guy or a IT system admin team need to be assigned there so that if anything goes like any problem he is facing or the site is not been like we can say it's down. So in that case, he needs to monitor it. And if just for example, earthquake is happening in that place or rainfall, or let's say there's a power breakdown, okay, now let's say, or any fire is happening, in that case, how can we deal with the disaster? So these were the problem which the you can say the IT team were facing, and you can just imagine like yes, it's a problem and then comes the cloud concept and this was like okay more easy because the cost if we see is more or less same because if we are paying the rent for the data center the bills and any hardware and plus we are hiring employees also for monitoring purposes so this kind of thing will be like the costing is more so if we move to cloud, then the this like any like they will be handling things for us, and the big plus is scaling will not be limited. So after like this concept was introduced, so if we say what is cloud computing, so cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of compute power, database storage, application, and other IT resources. If I say on demand means if I need something, I need this hardware or this let's say some EC2 instance in my, like let's say for streaming of any match, I will be just increasing the number of that. And all this thing is on demand means if I'm using, I will be paying. If I'm not using, I will not be paying. So here comes the second point, that is, though a cloud service platform with pay as you go pricing. So this pay as you go pricing is a very good concept. So if I'm pay, like just for example, if I'm going for a gym and I'm paying a membership amount to that particular gym, but I'm like let's say I'm only free on weekends, so the whole weekdays I'm not able to join. I go gym and do practice and all. So cloud concept is like if you are using something, then only pay. So if I'm going to gym, then only I will pay. Means a daily plan you can say. If I'm using any particular like Amazon's EC2 instance, so I will be paying for that particular hour only. Once I just close that or I stop the EC2 instance, no pay. So this pay as you go pricing was a very plus point for every, like you can say, like IT companies and all. So and also you can like make a, like if you need only let's say 100 GB of let's say CPU. So you can just make a proper like mapping and all, like you only need 100 GB or 200 GB, and that size only you can like allot to this compute resources, and yes, then only you have to pay for that price only. Now you can access as many resources as you need almost instantly. Now see, if you just I'm just comparing with the old IT approach that was installing the server room in some data centers or in office. So if you're traveling, let's say you're not in office, then you can't access them. So you need to be like go to the office and check everything like working or fine or not. But nowadays, after COVID, we are seeing the work from home culture is now so much in use. So in that case, we can just log into the console of the cloud, and just on one click, we'll be seeing like, okay, we can access anything. So because of these things, you can say cloud computing is booming the market. It's a future, and everyone is saying like, okay, just move to cloud. Now there's a simple way to access the servers, storage, database, so I can access anything, anytime, anywhere. Like I'm sitting in my room, I can go in and log into the console and I can check anything. So these things are the plus point we can say of the cloud computing. Now in day-to-day life, if you see, then we are like using cloud services. So the first one is Gmail. So I guess I am hoping everyone is like known to Gmail. So Gmail is a very email sending, you can say, application. So Gmail is also working on cloud. All your emails are being stored in a cloud only. Then comes the Dropbox. So for sharing your files, let's say I'm having a PDF, like 100 PDFs, so I can upload it in this Dropbox. So this Dropbox is also having a cloud storage. Same goes for Netflix. So Netflix streaming is also like they are having the AWS cloud in their system. So the streaming, the OTT platform, let's say Disney, G5 or Amazon Prime, all are using the cloud services. So we are using cloud services, but we need to also understand why to use, how to get into that. So, so there are, before going more ahead, there are some you can say deployment models of the cloud. So the first one is the private cloud, second is the public cloud, and the third is the hybrid cloud. So if I'm saying private cloud means this private cloud is only for my organization. No one from the external, like you can say external person can't access the cloud. So basically in the past, this private cloud, we can say we were having some VPN firewalls and all present for them, and no one from outside can access them. But nowadays in cloud also you can make sure like okay, any particular company's employee can only access that. So it's a private cloud. When comes the second one, that is public cloud, it means anyone, anywhere, like anyone from the country or the world. Let's say we are in Africa, African people can access that cloud infrastructure. The Indian can also access that. So it's a public cloud, access to everyone, but only thing the company has allowed, not everything. Then comes the hybrid cloud. It's a mix, like private plus public. Okay. So in the hybrid cloud, basically all companies are using hybrid cloud only. So some part of the things are like made public for everyone. Anyone can come and see. But the rest part is been only allowed to the company's employees. So now if I say the private cloud first. So in the private cloud, cloud services which are used by a single organization, not exposed to public. So as I was telling, like in the private cloud concept, that infrastructure is only for a company's employee. We have full control, and since we are only controlling that, so I will be like confirming from my end, like okay, that particular infrastructure is secure. All the sensitive applications are like full proof, secure, and not exposed to anyone from outside the organization. And also, since we are like having a full complete control, it means we will be meeting all the business need. If anything is needed in my organization, I will be implementing things. I will be changing the infrastructure according to that only. Then comes the public cloud. So if I say this one, so in public cloud, it is access, like anyone can like access this cloud infrastructure, but some part only. Means you can say, let's say in Amazon there are S3 bucket. So I have like makes sure like only you can see the object in the S3 bucket. You can't list it, you can't download it, you can't delete it. So some part of things will be like giving you upper hand. Like okay, these things can be only done by people outside the organization. Okay, that is the first thing. Now also, if we are like having this cloud concept, so there are some advantage also. We'll be seeing that. Now comes the hybrid cloud. So in the hybrid cloud, what we do, we keep some server on premises. Means let's say in the private infrastructure, I can just have a small room where I can install the hardware rack room. Because see, if we compare to the outside world, if we are hosting any application, the traffic can be like not fixed. Maybe someday the traffic is more, maybe someday traffic is not more. So we don't have a calculation for like how much it will be coming. But for our on-prem means for the company, we know like there are only 100 employees working under us. So I can have a services on premises, and then I can extend some more on the cloud. Like we can have a model. Let's just I'm giving an example. We can use both concepts. The traditional IT approach also I can just make on-prem infrastructure for my company's like employees, and for the outside world, the application which we are hosting will be on cloud, so that we don't experience the downtime also. Okay. Now, since we are having a hybrid cloud concept, then we can also have control over our assets in private infrastructure. That asset can't be accessed by anyone outside the infrastructure. So that is a very means good thing for like anyone, uh, like if you are implementing cloud. Okay. Now comes the next part is cost also. So since we are like like adopting the concept of both public and private, so cost will be also we can say optimized, it will be. So in that case, see any company when implementing cloud, they will see the budget. Every company sees the budget. So as a cloud engineer or as a cloud operation engineer, you need to see the like how much optimization you can do on the cost. So if you are like implementing the hybrid cloud concept, then it's a very good, you can say, for the like cloud, like if you want to migrate to cloud. Now we're seeing the five, like you can say, advantage of cloud computing, and because of this only, I can say we are adopting cloud, and since because of this only, cloud is like you can say you can say means everyone should be knowing in future. So the first one is on-demand self-service. So if I say on-demand self-service means like if I need something, I don't need to contact the Azure team or let's say Amazon team. Okay, hello sir, I need this. No. If, for example, my company's traffic is being increased by 100 or let's say 200, I need some EC2 instance in my like application. I can easily deploy. I don't need to contact with the company or any human, because maybe if that person is not available, then because of that my site uptime can go down. So there is no human interaction. I need something, I can do. So self-service. Like if you're going in KFC or any restaurant, McD and all, there's you can order things. They will be giving you order. You can just go and take that. No one will come and give you. So self-service system is there also on demand. And yes, because of that, it's very much like you can say a plus point for moving to cloud. Then comes the broad network access. So now anyone can access the content which is uploaded on the cloud. Any employee from anywhere by any platform you can say. So we can use that by their console also, from the command line also. So and like it's very easy for anyone. Now come the third one, that is multi tenancy and resource pooling. So now multiple customer, we can say like we are making one infrastructure and multiple customer can come, and let's say I'm making a e-commerce website. So just a one cloud infrastructure can help us to manage more customer, like multiple customer I can manage. So that's very like we can say a important thing. Then comes the fourth point which I was telling in the idea approach, scalability. So we can easily scale based on demand. So as like from past like 10 minutes, I'm telling the example of IPL or we can say any World Cup, FIFA matches, the traffic will be higher than the normal days. So in that case, we need to scale up things. So for the scaling up things, cloud is much more easier. But if we go in the old IT approach, we need to install the hardware. So for that, you need to contact the service like company from where you can just purchase it. Then they will send you the hardware and the CPUs and all. Then you have to need to install it, test it. So time is like we will see like okay, in that time maybe because of traffic, the site will go down. So because of that, cloud computing is like more far easy. You can scale up easily. Then comes the last one, and it comes for cost automation. So that is measured service, means I am only paying what I'm using. So if for instance after the this FIFA World Cup, I can just stop the instance. I can delete the instance, and I won't pay for that. So for the limited time when the company traffic is been increased and the sales are like more, then only I am paying for that. So it will be always the company is in profit, not in loss. Okay. Now comes the problem solved by the cloud. So again, see what are the things we are like seeing every time I will be explaining the same thing. So means first thing is the flexibility. So of course the change resource type when needed. So let's say I'm using a EC2 instance, let's say a compute service which is having a 8 GB RAM. But now because of the application load, I need to install 16 GB. So I can just change the configuration, no hardware and all needed. So that is so much easy for us. Okay. Now come the second one, is cost effectiveness. So pay as you go for what you use. So now see, this cost optimization is a very, we can say a skill which every cloud ops engineer need to know, cloud engineer need to know, because how much you can save for a company is what company will be saying. It's not like that you can like do anything on the cloud. You can do, but need to find a very simpler, concise way where the cost is also there, the concern. So you need to have a proper mindset, broader mindset for it, like how I can like save cost. So the first thing is like okay, if you are moving from on-prem to cloud computing, so of course we are like making some cost optimization because in on-prem, of course, we need to buy some hardware, and after the particular following week, the traffic is normal. We don't need that. So this was the main point. Now third point is scalability. So of course, we can accommodate the larger load by making hardware stronger. And then if we don't need, then we can scale it to down also. And at that, we don't need to pay anything for that. Of course, the when we are increasing the hardware, we'll be paying more. But since traffic is there, so the company is having a profit, so they can pay. But once the traffic is down, then they need to like think about okay, we cannot scale it down also. Then come the ability to scale out and scale in. Now, which I was telling, I can scale out, I can scale in. Means if I want to increase the hardware, I want to increase their limit, I can increase it easily. Let's particularly if a service is like having 5 EC2 instances, I need to add 7, 8 EC2 instances and all, then I can easily add, I can deploy. But now I don't need, then I can just scale out. So that is a very good thing we can say. Then the high availability and fault tolerance. Now see, they are like Amazon also have so much of data center. So basically what happened, this IT approach which we are following, like we need to pay for the data center, this maintenance and all. So this three company basically Azure from Microsoft, GCP from Google, and AWS from the Amazon team. So they have built the data center in multiple regions, in India also, in Africa also, in US also, in anywhere, everywhere they have North America, South America, everywhere they have data center. So the cost they are paying, of course, for data center, but since they are managing that, so we don't need anything. We just need a site uptime. Because of that, the site uptime is very high. Then comes the agility. So we can rapidly develop, test, and launch software because, of course, everything is on the go. Just click on the button and it will be easy to go. So these were the problem which are solved by the cloud. Now pricing. Now since I was telling cost automation is very much important, of course, for the cloud computing. So AWS if we see basically, so it has three pricing fundamentals following the pay as you go pricing, of course. So one is the compute, means pay for compute time. Means if I am launching a EC2 instance with that particular CPU, till then that instance is running, I need to pay. Okay. But this is for only compute time only. Now, if let's say I want to store some data, so how much data I am storing, let's say it's 100 GB, 500 GB, I need to only pay for that particular 500 GB. If I'm increasing it, I will pay more. If I'm like making it more, let's say I'm just making the number less, let's say now it's only 10 GB. So I will be paying for 10 GB only. Then comes the data transfer out of the cloud, data transfer in is free. Now if I want to transfer some data in my cloud infrastructure, it's free. We are not getting any cost. And if you want to take it out and in my local host, like local machine, I can easily do that also, and it's free. So because of the pricing concept also and the problem solved by the cloud here, we can say like they have solved the expensive issue of the IT infrastructure which we were making earlier. So that is very good thing we can say if we are implementing cloud. Now this is a shared responsibility model for the like the customer. Now basically what happened, they have just divided this into customer and AWS. So customer will manage these things only. Anything happen to these things will be managed by customer, and the rest part is the compute, storage, database, networking, the hardware, global. Let's say if any earthquake happens and the AWS data center is down. So that's the problem of AWS. The customer won't need to panic for it. But if anything happens to the customer data, then the cloud company is not part of it because since you have not like made a foolproof IAM firewall or the NACS list, so it's your fault. So customer data or let's say any IAM issue, that is identity and access management, or any client data encryption is not been implemented or anything is happening, then it is your fault. But if anything happened to their services, then it's their fault, they will be managing it. I hope this is clear. So now let's move to IAM because we're talking about it. So basically IAM is the, you can say, heart of AWS. If you don't know IAM, then you don't know anything. Because see, sorry. So basically, you can say just to enter into a house, you need to open the door. So for cloud, IAM is doing that. So basically, what is happening once you are very expert in making the policies, the IAM and all, so you can control the cloud, and the infrastructure is secure. Not will be depending upon how much like you are expert in making IAM policies. So basically in IAM there are four terms which we will be saying: users, groups, roles, policies. These are only four things which we need to do. So basically, I need, let's say there are around 100 employees. So I will be making 100 IAM users, and in the IAM users, I can like attach the roles. So let's say they are software engineer, security engineer, QA tester. So I will be attaching the roles to them, and for the particular roles, I will be attaching some IAM policies. So role is who are you, and policy means what you can do. So if a software engineer wants to work on particular services, I will attach that policy only. The rest thing they can't access. So that is also bringing a edge. Let's say I am an intern and the company don't want me to access their PI data in the ST bucket. So they will make a policy like I can't access the ST bucket. So that is very pretty good. So of course the policy making is not that easy, but also not that hard. It will come after practice only. So if you can like make a good IAM policy, then you are very expert in cloud computing. Okay. So and if I talk about groups, so we can make some groups also, but main concept is like how you can like assign some policies to a particular IAM user via role. Okay. Now then comes the EC2. I was talking about EC2 and it is Elastic Compute Cloud. So it is working like you can say CPU only. So in EC2, basically what happens, it consists of mainly like four things we can say. The first one is the EC2, that is the renting virtual machine. So I think in like you must be having experience on the local VMware or VirtualBox software which are like you can install in your laptop. So like that only we can rent virtual machine. So this renting virtual machine is called EC2 instances. Then comes if I want to store the data which is on like on the virtual drive, so we can store the data also and this for that we need to go for EBS. Now, of course, if we are having some application, then the load will come. But if a single, like you can say, a pipeline is made and all the loads are being fallen at that only, so it will create a problem. So for that, they have made a ELB, that is elastic load balancer, which will distribute all the load across machines. Now, after that, for scaling, now what happens? Let's suppose that I'm having an application and that application is having around 10 EC2 instances. But now someone is trying to do a DDoS attack. So I have made a script like, okay, if this traffic goes beyond 70, if there's a marker of 1 to 100, and if the traffic is going above 70, I can launch an instance. So that instance will of course take time. So this auto scaling group, because I just made a script. Now, since we are moving to cloud, so cloud will automate these things. Without any human interaction, it will increase the EC2 instance number so that the DOS attack is mitigated. That's a very good thing we can say if you are moving to cloud. So the auto scaling group and the elastic load balancer concept are very, like you can say, they have introduced it. Apart from elastic load balancer, there are two more application load balancer and classical load balancer. So we can also you can like go and search on internet about it. Now comes the last and you can say the most important one, that is Amazon S3. So now see why I'm talking about these three, because as a cloud fundamental, these three things you need to know, because at a start you won't be like going on and like solving problems of the Dynamo DB or RDS and all. So only these three things are very much important for any guy who is moving into cloud. So now Amazon S3, why we are like going for that. So first thing is Amazon S3 is for backup and storage. Now, if any disaster happen, let's say if you're using a hard disk on your laptop, in that case, let's say it's dropped down and it's broke. So you can't do anything. Let's say because of rain, anything happens, fire or any disaster is happening. So the disaster after that we can't like go and get the data. But for a company, they need the data because of that only they are working. So in that case, what will happen? Disaster recovery for Amazon S3 is more better than the normal IT disaster recovery. Now archive. So what is happening? Let's suppose that I am having some data which I don't need to use at an instant. So what I will do, I will be archiving it, and in that case, I will be paying less cost. Also, I can have a hybrid cloud storage. Now comes the application hosting. So we can host application on S3 bucket, and it's very easy and less costing. Same as application, I can also like go for media hosting, of course. And apart from that, I need if I need to just launch a website, also I can launch. So overall, we can say Amazon S3 is very good to go thing, and like we can save a cost because there are some policies there in Amazon S3 which is known as life cycle policy. In that, what we do, let's say after 1 year, I need to move the data to the S3 archive, you can say. So I will make a policy. So automatically after 1 year, I don't need to do anything manually. It will transfer your data in the S3 Glacier, which is very less costly. So this like these things make cloud very easy, and we can say like it's very easy for anyone from a non-tech also to come and work in cloud. And now in S3 also we have some S3 bucket policy. There are like four things which you need to remember: get, list, put, delete. So if I say get means I can just see the object. So if you go on web and see any application which is having some profile picture, it may be working on the S3 bucket concept. The object has been put on the S3 bucket. But when I come to listing, so if in policy you will say list bucket, it means I can download, I can list all the bucket objects which are present there, and I can download file, which is not good. Now put object. So if the put object policy has been there, I can upload any object in that particular bucket, which is not good if you're outside the organization. And then the last one is the delete object. It means I can delete any object from the bucket. So let's say I got access to your bucket where all your applications profile picture are there. So I can delete easily because of that policy. So at this also you need to have a very proper understanding of, about how the policy works. So yes, so that all from my side in the cloud computing. If you have any question, we can just have a Q&A, and I think it's better because we'll be going for lecture more and more, but what our doubt you're facing can be like helpful for like you to solve your doubts. So Faizan, are we having any questions?
No, sir. Unfortunately, your session was quite. We can say it was quite too much in of information for handling as a beginner, maybe. So we don't have any doubts actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really amazing. Like, I would just like to take a moment and really say that you went to how it is important and how it all started from to the current market and explaining about the complete AWS fundamentals. That was a really awesome piece of information you shared with us. That
Mhm.
was that's Thanks a lot for that. Unfortunately, Mr. Bonaventure couldn't join us today due to some issues.
Mm.
So we would just wind up the session without him.
Okay.
Thank you for investing your time over here. And I, being from India, I understand it's late over there. So it's a great pleasure that you took the time and effort to come up and share the knowledge with us. Thanks a lot for that. And we are looking forward surely to have more of such expert lectures or sessions from you. Thanks a lot.
Yes. Okay.